Concept 1470, solving quadratic equations using radicals, including those that may use the Pythagorean Theorem. Hopefully most of you have heard about the Pythagorean Theorem before. It is going to be used when you have right triangles, so that means you have one 90-degree angle. We're going to label the right triangle with A and B being the legs, or the shorter two sides of the triangle, and C being what is called the hypotenuse. C is going to always be the side that is across or opposite of the right angle or the 90-degree angle. It should be the longest side. The formula for Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let's look down at the notes. Given a right triangle with legs of 3 and 4, find the hypotenuse. I think it's always easiest to draw a picture, so I'm going to draw a right triangle and label. Again, it tells us to find the hypotenuse, so that is the c value, so I'm going to put a variable x there. Now all you need to do is use substitution to plug in for a, b, and c. So I'm going to rewrite this with 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. Simplify that. 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared is 16, so 9 plus 16 is 25. Now if you remember from the previous lessons, if we're trying to undo a squared, we will take the square root. And whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So I'm going to take the square root of each side. So we would get that it could be 5 or negative 5. Let's talk about that for a quick second. 5 times 5 is 25, but also negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. So that's how you get a positive or negative 5. However, when we're trying to find the length of something that is a triangle or a distance, it can't be negative. So our answer is going to end up just being x is equal to 5. Let's solve the following equations below. X squared equals 169. We need to get the x by itself. To get rid of the squared, we will undo that by taking the square root of each side. And the square root of 169, since it's a perfect square, is plus or minus 13. 5x squared equals 80. We're trying to get x by itself, so the inverse of multiplication is division, so we need to divide each side by 5. That's going to leave us with x squared equals 16. 16 is a perfect square, so when we take the square root of each side, we get that x is positive or negative 4. X squared plus 18 equals 30. We would need to subtract or do the inverse of addition, so subtract 18 from both sides. That's going to leave me with x squared equals 12. 12 is not a perfect square, but it does have a perfect square that divides it. So I need to rationalize that and take the square root of x squared, and 4 times 3 is 12. So I can simplify that and which gives me x is equal to plus or minus 2 square root of 3. Let's simplify this. 3 squared plus x squared equals 8 squared. So we get 9 plus x squared equals 64. To solve for x, I need to subtract 9 from each side. X squared equals 55. You can't take the square root of 55. It's not a perfect square, and there isn't a number that divides it. So our answer is going to be x equals positive negative square root of 55. On this last one, it says x squared plus 2x to the second power. If you remember correctly, we had to use what would kind of look like the distributive property when we had exponents. So to simplify that, I'm going to have 1x squared plus 2 squared is 4, and x squared is x squared. So I get 1x squared plus 4x squared. Because the bases are the same, or it has an x squared in both of them, I can add those together to get 5x squared. 5x squared equals 80, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. X squared equals 16. To take the square root of both of those, x equals positive or negative 4. Pause the video at this time and try the independent practice problems that you see below. On the next question, it says x squared plus 7 squared equals 9 squared. Simplify that. X squared plus 49 equals 81. Subtract 49 from each side and take the square root of that. 32 is divisible by 16, which is a perfect square, so that simplifies to x equals positive or negative 4 square root of 2. And the last one, draw a picture and label the legs or the shortest sides 4 and 5 and label the hypotenuse x. Use substitution into the Pythagorean theorem to simplify. 4 squared plus 5 squared equals x squared, or 16 plus 25 equals 41. The square root of each side would give us the square root of 41, and that does not have anything that's divisible by it, so x equals just the positive of 41 since we're trying to find a length. If you've got questions, please talk to your teacher. Otherwise, get started on your homework.